Thank you. Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Jennifer Morella. I am the building principal here at Richmond Middle School. And on behalf of myself and Mr. Knight, our Dean of Students, who is milling about over there, we'd like to welcome you to Richmond Middle School for our Veterans Day Assembly that we are both very excited to be a part of. This is our first Veterans Day here in Richmond Community Schools, so we are excited to be able to present this wonderful assembly to everybody. Veterans Day was always incredibly important in my family. I am the daughter of a Marine Corps vet, and happy birthday to USMC. And I also am the aunt of two soldiers, one who was in the reserves and one who is in active duty. And I am very proud of both of them, and proud of the fact that I am the daughter of a vet, because I know how important our military service is to our country. We're going to get started. Before we begin, I would like to just make a few just general announcements. I don't see him here, but I would like to thank Mr. Walmsley, our superintendent, for allowing us to have this great assembly and for allowing our families to return to our school. We are very excited about that. And I would also like to introduce our Board of Education, and I know not all of our board members are here, but if you are, if you could just give me a wave or a stand up if you're in the stands. Mrs. Deborah Michon is our president. Mrs. Angela Pasito is our vice president. Mrs. Sandra Fortuna is our secretary. Thank you. Mrs. Margaret Talto is our treasurer. She's over in the corner. Mrs. Candace Cunningham, who I also saw somewhere in the middle over here, is a trustee. Mrs. Kelly Aldani is one of our trustees, and Mrs. Danielle Sutton is one of our trustees. And we thank our Board of Education every day for making our district so great, so we appreciate you. At this time, I would like to turn the program over to our Richmond VFW Honor Guard as they present the colors. And if everybody could please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Students, please remember what we talked about earlier. If you have a hat on, please remove it. I'm going to wait until it is quiet, students. Thank you so much. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please remain standing, thank you, as the band plays the national anthem. Right? You sing and the choir sings. Thank you. Thank you to our choir under the direction of Mrs. Stacy Clore and our band under the direction of Mrs. Molly Shack. You all sound fantastic. So, nice job. At this time, we have, actually, let me backtrack. Earlier in the school year, toward the beginning of the year, our 8th grade students were tasked with writing an essay about their heroes. And we have 2 8th grade students who are going to be reading their essays. And the first student I would like to call down is Jaden Gutierrez.
Hello, my name is Jaden Gutierrez, and I wrote this about my dad. My Michigan hero. A hero puts their lives after other people's. They defend those in need and would sacrifice their life for the greater good. I picked my father because he proudly served in the United States Marine Corps for 8 years and fought for our nation's freedom. He fought the war on terrorism since before I was born. The day I was born, he was in combat, deployed in Himalayan province in Afghanistan. In Afghanistan, my dad did some amazing things. He served as a team leader, a squad leader, and a platoon surgeon during his time in the Marines. My dad survived being blown up by 2 roadside bombs in Afghanistan, where he was injured and lost some of his hearing. In Afghanistan, he earned a Purple Heart, a Combat Action Ribbon, and a Navy and Marine Corps Achievement Medal. He still has a fragment of the truck and a piece of the bomb that hit him on his military table. The truck fragment was signed by all of his members on his team that survived the explosion. He deployed to some of the most dangerous places in Afghanistan. He was shot many times by enemy fire, but he always was brave and willing to do whatever to do to complete the mission. He stayed up for days surviving off monsters and tobacco. He did not only provide for his family, but also to protect America, our values, and our way of life from terrorism. My dad was born in Detroit, and he was raised there. He had a rough time growing up and did not make the best decisions. He did get into a lot of trouble for fighting inside and out of school. He told me sometimes you have to do what you got to do to survive bad situations. He also told me sometimes you have to defend yourself and your family because you don't have a choice. Bad people do bad things. He was able to overcome growing up in a rough place and join the Marines when he was old enough. In the Marines, my dad became a leadership and a martial arts instructor. He taught younger Marines how to become great leaders. As a martial arts instructor, he taught Marines how to defend themselves in hand-to-hand combat. He also was responsible for training up to 70 Marines and taught them how to survive before getting deployed. They trained hard every day and had to be ready whenever they were needed. My dad and I train martial arts together every day, and I'm a higher rank than him, but he was a black belt and a martial arts instructor while he was serving in the Marines. He now shows me different techniques that he learned in the Marines to defend myself in case I need to. He always tells me to be aware of my surroundings so I can stay ready and not have to get ready. He also supported me no matter what. He was a coach for the TAFL football team for 4 years. He taught us how to use our strengths and overcome our weaknesses. He taught us his way of playing football. Now, he gives us tips after practice and how to get better. And he always asks, how do I do? He taught us how to protect our players on offense and help them not to get hit so the defense line or linebackers don't get through. On defense, he showed us how to be aggressive and attack the ball. He has grown up protecting and teaching people his entire life. He continues to risk his life every day working at the Department of Homeland Security as a lieutenant, a bomb training, and a firearms instructor. He trains his officers how to detect weapons and explosives from entering government places. He also works alongside other government agencies like the FBI, DEA, and the Federal Protection Service. My dad has taught me how to stand up for myself and protect those who cannot protect themselves. He has taught me to help other people when they really need it. He really encouraged me to play football again and to begin wrestling. He taught me to be the best person and student I can be. He shows me that hard work and effort are keys to being successful and that a great leader leads by example. But most people's heroes are sports figures or celebrities. My hero is my dad.
Yes. Thank you, Jaden. Thank you, Jaden, and thank you for your service, Mr. Gutierrez. Our next 8th grade essay reader is Crew Bison.
Talk as close to the microphone, this microphone as you can.
Yeah, okay. Hello, my name is Crew Bison. I would like to read my Michigan Hero essay. A hero is an individual who exhibits unwavering sacrifice and bravery regardless of the circumstances. They are willing to relinquish their possessions, time, and even their life if necessary. In my eyes, my father, Jonathan M. Bison, is the definition of a true Michigan hero. He has endured more hardships in his 39 years of life than I could ever imagine. Despite all the challenges he has faced, my dad continues to persevere and be the greatest father my brothers and I could ask for. My dad served in the military for 8 years, specifically the Army's Police Corps. Throughout his service, he has traveled across the globe, stationed in Yeongseong, South Korea, in the 142nd MP Company, later in Fort Bliss, Texas, with the 1st Cavalry Division, 4th Brigade Combat Team. During his time in the same unit, he deployed to northern Iraq for 18 months, primarily near Mosul and the surrounding areas. It's truly remarkable to consider the immense journey he embarked on during his early 20s. My father has shared a few stories with my brothers and I, but one stands out to me. Now, I would like to share the story that has left an incredible mark on my father's life. On September 6, 2007, a group of patrol MPs and 1/9th Cavalry Division soldiers were sent from Baton Rouge Prison to investigate suspicious vehicle and individual on a bridge northwest of the combat outpost. As they crossed the median of the bridge, the lead vehicle was struck by a massive improvised explosive device, claiming the lives of 3 brave soldiers, Sergeant Wilson, Corporal Hernandez, and Corporal Hilbert. This incident has left my father with post-traumatic stress disorder, also known as PTSD. While there may be other factors contributing to his condition, I believe this event to be the most significant. It is truly awe-inspiring to realize that my father endured such unimaginable circumstances and yet continues to be an exceptional father to my brothers and I. The level of dedication and honor displayed by my father, who was willing to sacrifice his time and even his life if needed, for his country, is nothing short of amazing. He claims that the only reason he ceased his service was my birth, and assures me that he would readily return in a heartbeat. This unwavering commitment is why Jonathan Bisson, my father, is my true Michigan hero. We must acknowledge the immense sacrifices made by individuals like my father who put their lives on the line to protect our nation. The unwavering dedication and bravery deserve our utmost respect and admiration. I believe not just my father and not just people from Michigan should be honored this way, but I believe that all the brave men and women around the globe serving for our country should be all our true American heroes.
Thank you, crew.
Thank you, crew. Let's give another round of applause to our 8th grade readers.
We Honor You is a choral song composed by Roger Emerson, known for its heartfelt and uplifting melody that pays tribute to the courage and sacrifice of our veterans. With its resonant harmonies and stirring lyrics, the piece serves as a moving musical expression of gratitude and respect.
Thank you so much, Mrs. Clore and the choir. Right now, we have a guest speaker. We have a U.S. Army veteran who served both in Okinawa and Vietnam, and I'm sure has many stories about all of his time in the U.S. Army. Please help me welcome our guest speaker for today, Mr. Paul Otsby.
Just a few things. I didn't expect a crowd like this. I expected some sixth graders. That's what I was told. But I'd like to have any Marine that is here or those that served in the Marines to stand up, please. And I want to wish these people a happy birthday. Today is the day of I think it's around 248 year old, something like that. So happy birthday. Well, good afternoon, and first of all, I'd like to say that my life would probably be completely different if I had not joined the Army. Everything that I have today and where I live is because of my service in the military. We are all here today to observe Veterans Day, which is to pay tribute to the men and women who served in the 4 branches of the U.S. military. I had just turned 18 when I enlisted, as I thought it was my duty to our country to serve in the military, as most of my relatives had served in World War II. Veterans Day was established right after World War I, on the 11th day of the 11th month and the 11th hour, when World War I armistice was signed. There are a lot of things that veterans share with one another: sacrifice, obligation, commitment, just to name 3. In my family of 3 generations of military members, past and present, my father served in World War II and was a prisoner of war, which brings me to the word sacrifice. I joined the U.S. Army in 1960 before the Vietnam conflict. However, I later volunteered to go to Vietnam, and I served at Tan Son Nhut Air Base in Saigon, South Vietnam, which brings me to my second word, obligation. I enlisted at the age of 18 because I felt I had an obligation to my family and to my country. The third person in our family is my grandson, who is a Navy officer currently serving on active duty, currently serving his second tour, which brings me to the word of commitment. After 3 years in the Army, I had make a decision if I wanted to re-enlist or to be discharged. And that was a difficult decision for me. I thought long and hard, but decided that not to re-enlist, but to seek employment after discharge to utilize the skills that I had acquired while in the service. If that did not work out and I did not find a job, I knew I could go back in the service because it was a great experience for me. But I thought I could apply my critical thinking skills, my organizational skills, and my disciplined approach to the business world. Also, I learned about other cultures, other traditions, and how they are integrated in America's everyday life. Being in the service teaches you to respect cultures, traditions, beliefs, and I find that they add to my value of my own. Veterans Day is also a day of reflection for those who served and came home and those that did not come home. The Richmond community has always been supportive about veterans and remembering each and every one of them. I want to thank you all for having me here today, and I have just a few other thoughts. But for the young people here, I'd like to tell you a story about my grandson who was in the Navy. He was about your age, well, actually, probably about 6th grade, and he joined the Sea Cadets. Many of you know what the Sea Cadets, but it's an organization like Boy Scouts or something like that. You go through training and you serve on ships. But because of his commitment to the Sea Cadets, he decided that he wanted to enlist in the Navy at some time. So when he came up for graduation, he submitted his name to, I want to say, for being able to enter West Point or the Naval Academy. But he also wanted to get in one way or another. Well, as luck would have it, the Navy offered him a scholarship. That scholarship for 4 years was worth about somewhere less than $200,000. But anyway, he did take the scholarship. He committed himself to 4 years at Norwich Military Academy, and he graduated. From after graduation, if you do take a scholarship like that, he had a commitment of 5 years to give back to the Navy. So he went in the Navy, he got into the submarine corps, and had quite an experience. He'd been to the North Pole, across the equator, in the South Pacific, and every place else, and he surfaced at the North Pole, broke through the ice. Have a picture of him standing on the ice out there, holding a Red Wings banner. But anyway, that worked out well for him. He also re-enlisted for another 3 years, and his enlistment is just about due right now, I think in February. So he has a decision to make whether what he's going to do. But anyway, I say this, the experience I had from the service, and many experiences, you have good ones and bad ones. The ones that are not as good. But at the end of the day, they all worked out to my benefit. So I'm very happy, glad that I did serve in the service, and I've gotten so many benefits from that. I used the VA health facilities, I got a GI Bill when I purchased my house, and I went to school on a GI Bill. So thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Mr. Otsby.
Sorry, Chloe. Hang on. No, it's perfect. Hang on a second, Chloe.
America the Beautiful is a patriotic hymn written by Catherine Lee Bates and Samuel A. Ward in the late 19th century. It has become a widely recognized and beloved American song, often celebrating the national beauty and patriotic spirit of the United States. The song's lyrics extol the country's diverse landscapes and its people's commitment to unity and freedom, making it a cherished part of American culture.
There you go.
Thank you, Mrs. Shack and our band. You sound fantastic. At this time, I would like to invite Mrs. Kathy Milbrand to the stage, or to the podium, I should say. We're not on a stage. And she has a special presentation from the organization called Quilts of Valor.
Thank you for allowing us to have this venue to be able to honor our veterans. We are from an organization, a national organization called Quilts of Valor. What we do is we make quilts for our veterans, and then we do presentations like this where we do an award for them. We have a list of a few gentlemen that we would like to honor, and what we will do, we'll ask them to come up to the front, and we will show them the quilt, and then we like to do a wrap, which is basically a hug from us to them for their service. But I would like to read you a certificate that goes with each of the quilt that everyone receives, and it is the Quilts of Valor Foundation wishes to recognize you for your service to our nation. We consider it our privilege to do so. Though we may never know the extent of your sacrifice to protect and defend the United States of America, we award you this Quilt of Valor as an expression of gratitude from a grateful nation. Our first recipient it's a very special honor for us because we don't have many of these men and women still with us. We have Paul Gordon Chambers, who is an Air Force veteran. Mr. Chambers is a World War II veteran, and he will be celebrating his 100th birthday this month. They said he was in the first row. Mr. Jim Porritt. Do you want us to come to you? We're going to come. There you go. You want to turn them around? You guys go in the front. Mr. Charlie Telto. Charlie Telto. Nope, that's the last one. Okay. He was talking in my brother-in-law. This next recipient, his granddaughter is going to help him with the award, Mr. Jim Wilton. Do you see him? There he comes. Madison's going to help you with this. She's gonna tell you what to do.
All right, Madison, come on with me. We're going to come out here. And I'm going to have you hold it up.
I need the certificate for the next
Yep,
one.
yep. Thank you. It's often at the back side because it's got some fabric on the back. They're warm. Mr. Jack Zalewski. Zalewski.
Vietnam vet?
Yes, he is. And our last Quilt of Valor is going to Mr. Frank Zampiglione. I'm hoping he's here. I don't see him. There he is. Come on.
Is he able to?
This is, yep, there he comes. Don's never going to let him sit down. Thank you. That's it. We're done. We're good.
Ladies, thank you so much. What an honor. We are so grateful that you came to celebrate with us today, so thank you so much. We're running a little bit long, which is okay, but what we're going to do right now is I'm going to just say a very quick closing. Thank you to everybody who was able to attend with us today. And just remember to thank your veterans, because we are all here because of them. So thank you so much for joining us. I am going to ask everybody to stay seated, because our band and our choir have a really wonderful tribute. Yeah, go right ahead.
All right.
Middle schoolers, thank you.
The United States Army. The United States Marines. We will fight our country's battles in land and sea. First to fight to freedom and to keep our honor clean. We are proud to claim the title. The United States Navy. The United States Coast Guard. We place our trust in Thee, who serve the storm and howling, how shall our purpose be? And the wrath is our God, our King and glory too. To fight, to save, to fight and die, I go down with the United States Air Force. Off we go into the wild blue yonder, climbing high into the sun. Here they come to meet our thunder, and the Lord give the gun. Down we rise, past the flame from under, off a wonderful course. We live and we'll go down this way. Hey, nothing stops you as their course.
Okay, thank you. That was wonderful. Just a few quick things before we leave. I am going to ask our guests to please remain where you are while we dismiss our students, because we need to get kids to buses. So if you could let us empty them from the gym before you leave, we would appreciate that. But before we dismiss anybody, I just have two things to say. One, if you are a veteran or if you are currently serving, if you could please stand if you are able, and if we would love to applaud you. So please stand if you are a veteran. we truly thank you for your service. I would also very quickly, before we dismiss our kids, like to thank Mrs. Shack, Mrs. Clore, and Mrs. Clausen, along with Mr. Knight, who helped make this program what it is today. So thank you so much.